Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chit Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Shvyam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandyam Shio Shiyu
Recording in progress.
Kamalam Shigum Vaishnavam Sha Shirupam Jagajantam Saganaragnatam Pitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savaduttam Bhajana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sakanalita Shivashakam Vitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Tyatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashvara Vishabhana Sutadevi Pranamama Haripriye Vancha Kalptabhasha Kripasan Vaivasha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sati Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So today we will start chapter 81. The Lord blesses Sudama, Brahman. So in the last chapter ended with Sudama reciting some prayers. And these prayers were in the last two verses of the previous chapter. I will read them again. The Brahman said, What could I possibly have failed to achieve, Lord of Lords, O Universal Teacher, since I was able to personally live with you, whose every desire is fulfilled at the home of our spiritual Master? Then, Almighty Lord, your body comprises the absolute truth in the form of the Vedas, and thus is the source of all auspicious goals of life. That you took up residence at the school of a spiritual master is simply one of your pastimes in which you play the role of a human being. So, these were the prayers of Sudama that now Sudama is very learned. He reached the proper conclusion of the Vedas. He has understood Vedasya Sarver Ameva Vidya. He has understood Krishna's transcendental pastimes. He is actually the greatest scholar, and he has achieved the full fruit of the Vedas by being able to speak to Krishna. So then, after Sudama glorified Krishna, speaking right to him, then Sukadeva Goswami continues in the two first verses of chapter 81. Sukadeva Goswami said, Lord Hari Krishna perfectly knows the heart of all living beings, and is especially devoted to the Brahmins. While the Supreme Lord, the goal of all saintly persons, conversed in this way with the best of twice born, he laughed and spoke the following words to that dear friend of his, the Brahman Sudama, all the while smiling and looking upon him with affection. So this means that Krishna He perfectly knew what Sudama was going through on the material level. He knew everything about Sudama. Lord Hari knows the heart of all living beings. So, I will read the purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the words Sarva Bhuta Mano Bhya indicate that since Lord Krishna knows the mind of everyone, he could tell at once that his friend Sudama had brought some flat rice for him and was ashamed to present it. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's further explanation of this verse, Lord Krishna smiled at this moment, thinking, yes, I'm going to make you show what you brought for me. He smiled then, and then his smile then turned to laughter as he thought, how long are you keeping this precious gift in your cloth? So what was this previous gift that Sudam had tied up in his cloth? That chipped rice. Chipped rice is not the most delicate homemade prasadam. It's the simplest of all food, practically speaking. Inexpensive and simple. And where did the Brahman Sudam, where did he get it from? He got it from his wife and she got it from the neighbors. So Krishna glanced toward the bundle hidden inside his friend's garment, telling Sudama by his loving glance, the veins showing through your emaciated skin and your ragged clothes astonish everyone present, but these symptoms of poverty will last only until tomorrow morning. So Krishna knew. Although Lord Krishna is Bhagavan, the Supreme Independent Lord, is always pleased to reciprocate with those who are Priya, his cherished servants. As the indulgent patron of the Brahmin class, he especially enjoys favoring Brahmins who are additionally qualified by unconditional devotion to him. So, text 3 and 4. The Supreme Lord said, O Brahman, what gift have you brought me from home? I regard as great even the smallest gift offered by my devotees in pure love, but even great offerings presented by non-devotees do not please me. Text 4. And here we have Bhagavad Gita 9:26. Patram pushpam phalam yomi bhaktya parachati tatyam bhaktyo paridam snami payatatmanam. If one offers me with love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. So, could someone read the purport of text 4, please?
These famous words are also spoken by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 9:26. Translation and words meaning here are taken from Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. In the context of the current episode of Sudama's visit to Dwaraka, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti has kindly continued his explanation of Lord Krishna's statement. This verse is a reply to Sudama's anxiety that his bringing short and unfit offering was ill considered. The use of the words Bhaktiya, Priya, Siti, Chanti, and Bhakti Upahitam may seem redundant, since they both mean offered with devotion, but Bhaktiya can indicate how the Lord reciprocates devotional mood of whoever offers him something with love. In other words, Lord Krishna here declares that his reciprocation in a pure loving exchange is not dependent on the external quality of what is offered. Krishna says something may or may not be impressive and pleasing in its own right, but when my devotee offer it to me in devotion, with the exception that I will enjoy it, it gives me great pleasure. In this regard, I make no discrimination. The verb asnami, I eat, implies that Lord Krishna eats even a leaf, even a flower, which is supposed to be smelled, bewildered as he is by the ecstatic love he feels for his devotee. Someone might then question the Lord, so will you refuse an offering made to you by a devotee of some other deities? The Lord answered, yes, I will refuse to eat it. The Lord, the Lord states by the phrase Praya Tatmanam, implying only by devotional service to me can one become pure in heart.
So, thank you. Sudama's anxiety was that Krishna was a king. And to bring a king beggar's food, that's not appropriate. He was thinking that it was a mistake, because he could even not offer it to him. Now he had seen the opulence of the palace where Krishna was living. And he was thinking, how can I give him this inappropriate food? So this is the essence of Vaishnava philosophy, and why it touches upon the point what is important to Krishna. It touches on what is Krishna's heart. Bhava Rai Shanardhan. The Lord accepts the essence of the mood of the devotee, whatever he offers, because he is a devotee. His mood is one of devotion. It's far easy to make an external offering, but it is the devotion that Krishna desires to eat. He eats the offering because of Bhakti Uparitam. It is offered with devotion. The external part of the offering is the gesture. It is the external manifestation of the internal mood, the external manifestation of the love. A lover gives the beloved a ring. The ring may have great value or may not have great value on the financial market, but this gift is just for you. No words have to be exchanged. It carries the way of internalness, affection, and therefore it is cherished. So the essence of devotional service is devotion. But when there is devotion, then there is automatically service. So Srila Prabhupada would not translate bhakti as service, but as devotion. The two together are exactly what we mean. Bhaj doesn't mean worship, but the exact English equivalent is devotional service. An act made as an offering with love and devotion for the pleasure of another. Just offering the fruit is to be considered on the platform of karma yoga. Yat karosi yat asnasi yat yos dadasi yat tapasya sikant yat tat kosmatat achmanam. But bhakti is the whole act, not just the offering or the renunciation of the fruit for the pleasure. It's for the pleasure of the beloved, but it is the entire act of the world, of the work. That is the complete science or action of Bhakti Yoga. So Sudama carried the flat rice all the way, but when he got there he was thinking, oh no, this is not suitable. Not a suitable fruit to offer. So Bhujan Prabhu told an experience he had with Prabhupada in Hong Kong, that the first time Srila Prabhupada visited Hong Kong, Bhujan Prabhu said, I got some flowers which were not suitable for offering to Krishna, gladioles. Gladioles, they are offered to Lord Shiva, but these gladioles were too old. When Srila Prabhupada was walking into the room and we had a reception, then we were throwing them at his feet. He looked at me and sat down and said, they are spoiled. I understood that just because we have them, that this means that, does not mean that we should offer them. Even when the act was well intended, the offering should be suitable. That so can read. This is the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on text 4. If someone can read it, please. It's on the screen.
When I took this form, my house to present to you, I did not think about it at all. But on considering now, it is not suitable for you to eat, so I am not giving it. In this verse, bhakti upahara means offered with devotion, rather than repeating the word from the previous phrase, bhaktiya. Bhaktiya Prayachiti. I accept that which is offered to with devotion, whatever my devotee offered with devotion, not offered by any oblation to others. Sometime something may be tasty or not tasty, but that which is given by my devotee with devotion, thinking it is tasty, become very tasty to me, without me thinking twice about it. Bewildering by the prema of my devotee, I also eat the flowers as asnami, which though acceptable is not edible. Do I not eat that which is offered with the devotion by person who are devotees to the devtas? Since I have said I accept what my devotee offers, true, I do not eat it. I eat that from a devotee who has a pure heart and no one else, Prayata Atmana, or whose mind is fixed in devotion alone. I accept his offering and no one else's.
Yeah, thank you. That so we're going to text 5. Sukadev Goswami continued. Even after being addressed in this way, O king, the Brahman felt too embarrassed. Too embarrassed to offer his foul forms of flat rice to the husband of the goddess of fortune, he simply kept his head bowed in shame. That, according to Acharya Vishwanath Chakravarti, the description here of Krishna as the husband of gods of fortune implies that Sudama questioned himself. How can the Lord of Shri eat this hard stale rice? By bowing his head, the Brahman revealed his meditation. My dear master, please do not make me ashamed. Even if you request it for me repeatedly, I will not give this to you. I made up my mind, but the Lord countered with his own thoughts. The intention you had fixed in your mind while coming here must not be frustrated, for you are my devotee. So Krishna is the unlimited, all-powerful Lord, the husband of Shri. And we are going to give him that is going to impress him. We don't bring bananas to a person who owns a banana orchard. We don't bring mangoes to a person whose mango trees are blossoming, because they already have that. There is a problem for the devotees in the sense that what they should give Krishna, because Krishna is the supreme self-satisfied. The goddess Shri, the goddess of fortune, is serving him, so he is not in need of anything. So Krishna, being the direct witness in the heart of all living beings, had fully understood why Sudam came to see him. There were perhaps a multiplicity of reasons, but the essence was that he wanted to see Krishna. But that wasn't the reason that he had come. There was a need at home. The wife had requested him to come. Thus Krishna thought, in the past my friend had never worshipped me out of a desire for material opulence. But now he comes to me to satisfy his chaste, devoted wife. I will give him riches that even demigods cannot obtain. Text 6, 7. Being the direct witness in the heart of all living beings, Lord Krishna fully understood why Sudama had come to see him. Thus he thought in the past, my friend has never worshipped me out of a desire for material opulence, but now he comes to me to satisfy his chaste and devoted wife. I will give him riches that even immortal demigods cannot obtain. So, the purport of 6, 7. Can someone read the purport, please?
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments that the Lord momentarily wondered how was it come about despite my omniscience that this devotee of mine has fallen into such poverty. Then, quickly understanding the situation, he spoke to himself, the words related in this verse. But someone may point out that Sudama should not have been so poverty stricken, since appropriate enjoyment comes as a byproduct of service to God. Even for a devotee who has no ulterior motive, this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9:22. Anyan Anyaschintayanto mam he jhanam prabhakshate tesam nityavayuktam yogashemam mahamyam. But those who are always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. In response to this point, a distinction must be made between two kinds of pronounced devotee. One kind is inimical to sense gratification, and the other is different to it. The Supreme Lord does not force sense gratification upon the devotee who are extremely averse to worldly enjoyment. This is seen among such great renowned as Jadabharat. On the other hand, the Lord may give limited wealth and power to a devotee.
Yeah, to a devotee.
Who
Yeah.
are neither repelled or nor attracted by material things, such as Prahlad Maharaj. Up to this point in his life, Sudama Brahmana was totally averse to sense gratification, but now, out of compassion for his faithful wife and also because he anchored to have Krishna audience, he went to beg from the Lord.
So Sudama, he was satisfied in his situation. He did not need anything. The idea for the highest form of devotional service is that if it's pleasing to Krishna, then I will take it. So the process of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to be indifferent for sense gratification. This is the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Anasaktasya Vishyam Yotartan Upayungyata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktavaryam Uchate. There is no attraction or aversion, just what is pleasing to Krishna. Now we will hear the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Can someone else read that commentary, please?
The witness in the heart, or the seer of all souls, all entities, full of prema, then thought, though I know everything, he has my devotee become so poor. Then, understanding the truth, he said to himself, he did not worship me with material desires. The result of performing bhakti without material desires is spiritual enjoyment. Damasya, He Apravasya Ato Pratayopayate Na Trasya Dharmasya Tasya Kamo Labati Smita. There are two types of Niskama Bhakta, those who dislike material objects and those who are neutral to them. According to the differing nature of the Niskama Bhaktas, there are two different of results. Those who have a dislike of material enjoyment will not get short enjoyment. Bhakta is an example. Bharata is an example of this type of devotee. Those who neither dislike nor like get those material enjoyments. Prahlad is an example of the type of devotee. Sudama is in this and previous life had a dislike of material enjoyment. He had come to see Lord Krishna only because of the inst the is
Insistence.
existence of his wife,
Insistence.
insistence of his wife. Then again he thought to himself, even her desire was motivated by loyalty to her husband alone, Pati Gritaya. Thus it is also without personal desire at all. Therefore, I will give wealth that is rare even to
Okay.
mortals and
Illa,
devotees.
okay.
Uh,
Sorry, bro.
so we have here,
எனக்கு okay, bro. எனக்கு okay. Ah,
we have here Sudam. Sudama is averse to sense gratification because he thinks that sense gratification that comes between it's not good for my Krishna consciousness. It interrupts my devotional service. So he was averse. But then he saw the opulence in Dvarka and all these devotees in Dvarka who were also pure devotees. And all this opulence. And so he understood that it's not aversion to sense gratification, it's indifference. If Krishna gives after being offered to him, then yes, we can take it, but not for sense gratification. So it's from aversion he went to indifference by these pastimes. So the highest renunciation is that Lord Krishna has put this under my care and let me use it in his service. That is Yukta Varagya. And there are two results here. The devotee who is averse to sense gratification, what's the result? You don't want sense gratification. He will not get wealth from Krishna. And therefore Sudam was so poor. Because he did not want it, so Krishna did not give him. But another example of that is Jad Bharat. But then there are devotees who are not averse and not attached to material things. And to them he can give unlimited wealth, like Prahlad Maharaj. So these are two important points here. Now we will read the next 4 verses. Thinking like this, the Lord snatched from the Brahman's garment the grains of flat rice tied up in an old piece of cloth and exclaimed, "What is this? My friend, have you brought this for me? It gives me extreme pleasure. Indeed, these few grains of flat rice will satisfy not only me, but also the entire universe." After saying this, the Supreme Lord ate one palmful and was about to eat a second when the devoted goddess Rukmini took hold of his hand. And then you have 11. Queen Rukmini said, "This is more than enough, O soul of the universe, to secure him an abundance of all kinds of wealth in this world and the next. After all, one's prosperity depends simply on your satisfaction." So now we go back to 9. And we will read the purport of 9. Can someone read this purport?
Shri Prabhupada writes in Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead. It is understood from the statement that Krishna, being the original source of everything, is the root of the entire creation. As watering the root of the tree immediately distribute water to every part of the tree, so an offering made to Krishna or an action done for Krishna is to be considered the highest welfare work for everyone, because the benefit of such an offering is distributed throughout the creation. Love for Krishna becomes distributed to all living entities.
That is an interesting principle. Work done for Krishna is the highest welfare work done for everyone. Love for Krishna becomes distributed to all living entities. Something we can remember for our preaching. That's a very nice point. I will read the purport of 10. I have to read it in two parts. So I will read the first part, someone else can read the second part. Queen Rukmini took hold of Krishna's hand to prevent him from eating any more of the flood rice. According to Shripad Siddhar Swami, with his gesture, he meant to tell the Lord, "This much of your grace is sufficient to assure anyone vast riches, which are merely the play of my glance. But please do not force me to surrender myself to this Brahman, as will happen if you eat one more handful." Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains that by taking hold of the Lord's hand, Rukmini implied, "If you eat all of this wonderful thread your friend brought from his house, what will I have left for my friend's co-wife, servants, and myself? There will not be enough left to distribute even one grain to each of us." And to our maidservant companions, she said by her gesture, "This hard rice will upset my Lord's tender stomach." Srila Prabhupada comments that when food is offered to Lord Krishna with love and devotion, and is pleased and accepted from the devotee, Rukmini Devi, the goddess of fortune, becomes so greatly obliged to the devotee that she has to personally go to the devotee's home to turn it into the most opulent home in the world. If one feeds Narayan sumptuously, the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, automatically becomes a guest in one's house, which means that one's home becomes opulent. So this shows how powerful devotional service is. A service that is really made with devotion is so powerful. So that ends the Brahman's stay. This was the totality of the interactions between Sudam and Lord Krishna. But it's not the end. That text 12. Sukadev Goswami continued. The Brahman spent that night in Lord Asyuta's palace. After eating and drinking to his full satisfaction, he felt as he had gone to the spiritual world. Yeah, how would you feel to be with Krishna? The next day, Sudama set off for home while being honored by Lord Krishna, the self-satisfied maintainer of the universe. The Brahma felt greatly delighted by my dear king as he walked along the road. So, I have a question for you. Why did Lord Krishna let him walk back? Why did he send him back in a chariot he had so many chariots? Someone has an answer to that. That
Maharaj,
yes, Pavitra Prabhu.
Lord Krishna didn't want to expose or to make him feel right presently about his reward. We want him to go to surprise. Lord Krishna wanted to surprise him. When you go home, you just see a palace.
Yeah, that could be one way, but that does not mean that Krishna had to go with him. He could have ordered Daruka and say, "You bring him home." So why did he not do that?
Because wherever Sudama steps, it is purifying the earth.
That's very nice.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
It's purifying.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Sudama being a great devotee, he is spiritually satisfied. He did not desire for material. That's why Krishna looked only spiritual.
Yeah, that's true. He did not want anything from Krishna, but still, why did Krishna not accompany him for some time? It's interesting that, but Purnamasi gave us the answer. There's a wonderful verse in the 11th canto. It's 11:14:10 or 11:14:16. Nirapekshamunim santam naivaram samadarshanam anuyayam maham nityam puchayetan hirenabe. With the dust of my devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material world which are situated within me. Thus I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees, who are free from all personal desire, kept in thought of my pastimes, peaceful, without any feelings of enmity, and of equal disposition everywhere. So, Krishna wanted Sudam to purify all the land that he was walking to. And because Krishna says, I desire to purify the material world, yes, with the dust of my devotees' lotus feet. And that's the reason why he did not come with him. Why he did not order Daruka to bring him home. So the question may arise, was Sudama Brahman? Was he free from all personal desire? And was he wrapped in thought of my pastimes? Sudama was delighted, thinking of the Lord. He was peaceful, without any feelings of enmity, as this verse from the 11th canto presents. And Krishna says in the 11th canto to Uddhav, when such a person walks, and what is Lord Krishna's desire? Krishna's desire is that the dust of the devotees' lotus feet purifies the material world. So the reason why Krishna did this He wanted Sudama to purify the entire kingdom by the dust of his lotus feet when he walked back. So how dear are the devotees to Krishna? How much is he taking care of them? Therefore, when we feel that we are not getting the care that we deserve, and then we should remember this pastime and understanding the ways and reasons for doing what he does. That, also, we learn this is how my devotee, when he doesn't think what he needs, he never asks me for everything, anything. So, I will go back now. Screen. So, I read this verse again from the 11th canto. With the dust of my devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material world, which are situated within me. And then he describes the qualities of pure devotees. I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees who are free from all personal desire, kept in thought of my pastimes, peaceful, without any feelings of enmity, and of equal disposition everywhere. So these are the qualities of Sudama. Lord Krishna allows his devotees to act in a way that others will become purified. That's the essence here. Despite of all difficult circumstances, Lord Krishna's pure devotees are free from all kinds of material desires. They meditate on the Lord's pastimes, and they are peaceful. They don't think that this person or that person is the cause of my problems. Equal to everyone, this consciousness is so exalted that tenum campamsa samikshamo. And this allows one to go home and serve the lotus feet of the Lord. So Sudam apparently received no wealth. Externally, it appeared that he had achieved no wealth. So, Pavitra Prabhu, please tell us what's on your mind. Hare Krishna, Pavitra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, your hand is up, so I was thinking.
Yes, Maharaj. In the previous commentary of Vishwanatha Chakravarti, he said Sudama in his previous life, he doesn't desire anything material. So what was his previous life? Who was he?
Sudama's previous life, I don't know.
Yes.
But
Okay.
it must be very exalted to come into Krishna's pastimes. That, yes, but I don't know. Interesting. That I have no answer to that. Good. We will read another 4 verses that back to so text 14. Apparently he received no wealth from Lord Krishna. Sudama was too shy to beg for it on his own. He simply returned home, feeling perfectly satisfied to have had Krishna's audience. So He was too shy to beg on his own. He never mentioned anything to Krishna when he was there. He returned home perfectly feeling satisfied. He did not say, didn't I ask Krishna? No, he was satisfied. Why? It was like he had been in the spiritual world, and he was with the Lord of Vaikuntha, and that was how he felt satisfied to have the Supreme Lord's audience. He was very reverential also when he met Krishna. And in the next 6 verses, we will hear the thoughts of Sudama. We will enter Sudama's consciousness, the consciousness of a pure devotee, and we will read some of the commentaries of and purports of Shiva Goswami. So, text 15. Sudama taught, Lord Krishna is known to be devoted to the Brahmins, and now I have personally seen his devotion. Indeed, he who carries the goddess of fortune on his chest has embraced the poorest beggar. Who am I, a simple poor friend of a Brahmin? And who was Krishna? Who is Krishna? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in 6 opulences. Nonetheless, he embraced me with his 2 arms. So Sudama was so humble that he considered his poverty to be his own fault, result of sin. Such mentality is in accord with the saying Daridra dosho gunarasi nasi. The discrepancy of being poor ruins heaps of good qualities. That's text 16. Now we will read Shiva Goswami. Can someone read the commentary of Shiva Goswami on the screen?
He expands on the previous verse. Am I special Jiva? Is it not Krishna, Swam Bhagavan? Moreover, I am poverty stricken, sinful with no good fortune, but he is the abode of Lakshmi. By his nature, he is full of all wealth. He is full of all status. Just because this person was born in a Brahmana family, he has embraced him. He has embraced him with his 2 arms. That is amazing, Sama. He embraced me because I am a Brahmana, not because I am a friend. By this, he expressed his extreme lack of qualification. He praises the Lord for being affectionate to Brahmana rather than being affectionate to devotee.
Thank you. Text 17. He treated me just like one of his brothers, making me sit on the bed of his beloved consort. And because I was fatigued, his queen personally fanned me with a jack-tailed chamarang. Although he is the Lord of all demigods and the object of worship for all Brahmins, he worshipped me as if I were a demigod myself, massaging my feet and rendering other humble services. Devotional service to his lotus feet is the root cause of all the perfections of a person can find in heaven, in liberation, in the subterranean regions on the earth. Thinking, if this poor wretch suddenly becomes rich, he will forget me in his intoxicating happiness. The compassionate Lord did not grant me a little wealth. That was his thought. So Sudama's statements that Lord Krishna bestowed to him not even a little wealth may also be taken to mean that instead of giving him wealth that was aburi, slight, the Lord gave him the immense treasure of his association. This alternate meaning has been suggested by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. We have also Jiva Goswami here. Yeah, Jiva Goswami. No, there's no comment of Jiva Goswami. There was the previous verse. So, it's nearly home. So, tomorrow we will hear about the reciprocation, that the surprise he experiences when he comes home. That so any reflections on this pastime so far? What did we learn from it? That Vishalaksha Prabhu, please speak.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, thank you very much for a very nice, wonderful class. And here one of the purport said that Krishna is more, devotees are Brahmana plus Vaishnavas. But here in Sudama's explanation is saying that Krishna is more affectionate to Brahmanas compared to even devotees. So Krishna, I want to know that Krishna is more affectionate towards his Brahmanas or towards devotees, Vaishnavas?
In which purport is that, Vishalaksha?
So means Sudama is explaining that Krishna embraced me as a, not as a friend, but as a Brahmana in that purport.
Krishna is embracing me. Is that in the last verses that we read?
Yeah, I think so, Maharaj.
Moment, huh? I get this on the screen. Here it is. He has embraced me with his two arms. In the purport.
Here, Maharaj.
So he expands on the previous verse. Am I some special jiva? Is not Krishna Swayam Bhagavan? Moreover, I am poverty-stricken, sinful with no good fortune. But is the abode of Lakshmi. By his nature is full of wealth, is full of all Shaktis. Just because this person was born in a Brahmin family, he has embraced this with his two arms. This is amazing. He embraced me because I'm a Brahmin, not because I'm a friend. But this expresses his extreme lack of qualification. He praises the Lord for being affectionate to the Brahmins, rather than being affectionate to the devotees. Yes, that is the thought of Sudama according to Jiva Goswami. Says, it's because I'm a Brahman, he respects me. That not because I'm a friend. That so he thinks that Krishna is giving me respect, because in the Varnashram system, Brahmins are naturally to be given respect. And that is a rule. That and he thinks, yeah, it's not because I'm a devotee, because he thinks himself, I'm not a devotee. I'm not on that platform. So this is humility. That's the humility of Sudama, who thinks I'm even not a Brahmin, he says. I'm a Dvija Bandhu, the friend of a Brahmin. I've even not his qualifications. So his extreme lack of qualification, I don't have all these qualities. But because I happen to take born as a Brahmin, and he gives all this respect to me. But I don't deserve it because I'm not qualified. So he praises the Lord for being affectionate to the Brahmins in the Varnashram system, rather than being affectionate to devotees, because he thinks I'm not a devotee. That is his thought. That is his thought. Because he thinks I'm not a devotee. This does not mean that the Lord does give more affection to the Brahmins, to the devotees, but he thinks, yeah, I'm not a devotee. So he thinks rather he gives me that respect as a Brahmin, because I'm a Brahmin according to the Varnashram system, although I don't have these qualities either. Therefore he gives me respect. And because he thinks I'm not a devotee. So this is not something that can be generalized. These are the internal thoughts of Sudama Brahman, revealed here by Jiva Goswami, an insight in the internal thinking of Sudama. That Vijayalaksha Prabhu, does that help to understand that?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. So Pavitra Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for your wonderful explanation. Prabhu, I just wanted to ask, what was the cause of Sudama's poverty? Being a Brahmana, a friend of Krishna, they stay in the same school, and now his poverty striking. What is the cause?
So it breaks a little up, and I didn't hear you clearly. Can you repeat it?
Thank you, Maharaj. I was wondering, Sudama being a Brahmana and a friend of Lord Krishna, they attended the same school, staying in the same Gurukula. Why is he poverty stricken?
Why is he poverty stricken?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that we explained before, that he was averse to sense gratification. He did not want it. And therefore, Lord Krishna did not give it to him, because he did not want it. Because he was thinking this sense gratification is coming in between of my devotion, if I become attached to sense gratification, I forget Krishna. And therefore I don't want it. So better not to have it. So I don't want it. That was his reasoning. And that's interesting. He did not want it. Because we will hear about that in the 11th canto also. Krishna will speak about that to Uddhav, in the Uddhav Gita. And it is a story we will hear of the 4 Kumaras asking a question to their father, Brahma. They are asking the question, yeah, this mind and these sense objects, they are always connected. The sense objects, the mind becomes attracted to the sense objects, and they are entering the mind. So how can that connection be broken? They asked that question to Brahma. And what does Brahma reply? He said, I don't know. I cannot answer that question. And then Hamsa avatar comes, the Lord in the form of a swan. And he answers the question that he first explains we are not this body, we are not this mind, and we have nothing to do with this mind and these sense objects. But it's because of false ego we identify with this body. And the connection between this mind and this sense objects, what is the reason? It is sense gratification, the desire for sense gratification. That makes that connection. That makes the mind being attracted to objects of the senses. It's sense gratification. And how can you break it? By stopping this attraction. And the attraction comes from sense gratification. And Hamsa Avatar says, how can you stop it? You can stop it by performing devotional service. Then you will purify your heart. And then the mind will not be attracted anymore to the sense objects. So that is the deeper philosophy behind. And Suddha and Brahman knew this. He said, I don't want this sense gratification. And when you have it, then you become attracted to it. So better to be poor. He wanted to be poor. And therefore Krishna never gave him. Is that clear for it? Why?
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
So, any other points? Questions, thoughts that this beautiful reciprocations of Krishna with his devotees. Good. Then we continue tomorrow, same time, and we will hear the conclusion of this beautiful pastime